Keiko's Diary.
Welcome to the Keiko's Diary podcast, where I get up close and personal with creatives to uncover the people behind the art. Now, without further ado, let's bring in today's guest, the invincible Chuck Huber.
Hello, I am totally invincible.
It's awesome to have you on the show today, Chuck. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. It's good to be here.
You are an icon. I mean, you've lent your unforgettable voice to major shows such as Dragon Ball Z, My Hero Academia, Yu Yu Hakusho, Correct. One Piece,
yes.
and Attack on Titan.
That's right.
Ghost in the Shell.
Sure.
Tokyo Ghoul. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Fullmetal Alchemist.
That's correct.
And so many more. That's just starting. That's the tip of the iceberg. I think it's safe to say you know what you're doing.
I do. I've been doing this for 25 years now. My very first role was Garlic Jr. all the way back in the Dragon Ball Z, the early Garlic Jr. saga. So that was like 25 years ago I did that.
I remember that saga. That's so much fun. You now teach others and help them with the craft of voiceover. So could you tell us a little bit about why you started coaching and what that's been like for you?
Yeah, so I've been telling friends, colleagues who do the conventions for a long time. I was like, conventions are one thing, but you can always feel that fans at the convention want to have a deeper, sort of more meaningful relationship. But the convention lends itself to only 4 or 5 or 6 different interactions that happen. And I've been a teacher for years. And so I was like, well, I should just teach voice acting because I love teaching and I love acting. And voice acting is something that lends itself to being taught online. So I've been teaching over Zoom for, I think I'm going on 9 years now.
Congratulations.
When Zoom first came out, it was one of the first things I did with it. And so, it's been really fun. I can teach students all over the world. I've had students from South America, Europe, Asia, just everywhere. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's wonderful. And you're helping so many people out. I see nothing but glowing reviews with people talking about you. So everyone, if you're interested in getting top-notch help, go seek out Chuck Huber. He's amazing.
ChuckHuber.org and click on Masterclass. And the great thing about that, on that tab, you scroll down a little bit, there's a link that shows you all the different places that you can audition. So just by checking it out, you get connected to a database of places that need voiceover.
Okay, before we talk a little bit about your incredible career, let's kick things off with a fun segment, my favorite, the 60-second 411. Favorite color?
Green.
Favorite movie?
Blade Runner.
Favorite song?
Ave Maria.
Ooh, favorite game?
Chess.
Greatest fear?
Drowning or being trapped in a cave deep underground with an injury.
Ooh, yeah. Hot or cold weather?
Cold.
Night owl or morning bird?
Morning bird.
Favorite singer?
Pavarotti.
Ooh, favorite food?
Bread, freshly baked.
Ooh, that's awesome. Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Biggest pet peeve?
Unkindness.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs, except my cat.
If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Warp gate.
Favorite Spice Girl?
Warp gate, like sporty.
Favorite subject in school?
That's the only one I know. Math.
Oh my goodness, we right in the nick of time.
Almost out of time. That was crazy.
Oh my goodness, I was just like, favorite subject in school, favorite Spice Girl, just blurting them out.
The Spotlight.
I, of course, have to start our conversation with Dragon Ball Z and the whole franchise itself. You are the voice of Android 17. And I have a confession. I basically idolized this character when I was little. I just thought he was the coolest thing to ever show up. I'm serious. He was just so cool to me. And I still, to this day, get the same feeling whenever I see him. And
yeah, he was pretty cool. When he showed up, it was a different style of villain. We hadn't really had the sort of, I suppose the closest thing to him, but not as cool, would be like the Terminator, because the Terminator's just not going to stop, and it doesn't care, and it has no feelings. And Android 17 had that, but had kind of a cooler Terminator 2 style personality with the Terminator 1 mentality. So it was, You just he was like a shark. You just knew he didn't care and he was going to kill you.
You're so right. Yeah, it really was a first, I believe. The villain, like the people thought of as a villain before, was more like fee fi fo fum, just the generic type villain. And then these androids came in and they were stylish and they were cool and they weren't so in your face. I mean, Android 17, he didn't have to yell to make you scared. He was just so cool and calculated. And,
that's right.
Yeah, I was devastated when Cell did his thing. So yeah, I still haven't forgiven him.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Me either. I haven't forgiven him at all.
Me neither. I bet, as your voice child, it's even more offensive when things like that occur to your characters. So
That's true. That's true. Never thought he would ever come back at all. When he came back at the end of DBZ as a park ranger and levels that shotgun at those two poachers, I was like, what is going on? I was like, he just sort of magically showed up again. And I was like, okay, maybe he's not dead. It's like amazing. He's not.
We'll take it. Yeah, it's like, I'll take it. He's back. Right. That just shows the popularity of his character. You make it look easy.
Thank you.
And so could you tell me what your first impressions were of Android 17 back when you first stepped in?
Well, when I first stepped into the booth, there was a freeze frame of him up on the screen. And the first thing I said was, wow, who's she? She's totally hot. And they were like, that is your character. And I was like, well, apparently I'm attracted to mannish women. Because that is obviously, now that you've said it, a dude. And I guess just take that internally for myself. And it was a little creepy.
Yeah, just log that away.
I was like, I think I'm hot. Yeah. But the character was super fun, and the direction on it, that Chris Abbott was the director, and he was like, yeah, man, just don't do anything. Just relax. Just say the words and just don't add any acting to it. Like, the only note I would get for Android 17 is he would say, too much, man, too much acting. Just say it like you're dead inside.
Yeah.
So I just have to say it like I was dead inside, and that made the character so cool, but it meant I really didn't have to do a lot of work for him. If I could have any of my characters come back, Hiei, Dr. Stein, and Android 17 would be the top three, and I got one of them. And Hiei kind of came back with a couple of OVAs. Now I'm just waiting for Dr. Stein to make a reemergence.
Fingers crossed. I feel it could happen. Yeah. Speaking of Hiei, that's another huge career highlight. You were part of the award-winning Yu Yu Hakusho. And it is one of the best-known Japanese franchises of all time. Has sold over 72 million copies worldwide. And
oh my gosh.
Isn't it crazy? I mean, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
And even a live-action version is coming to Netflix later this year.
Yeah, we'll see. I want to pitch, see if I can get it. Although they're going to have an actor who doesn't look like this sounds. It would be fun to do the dubbing on it for the English.
That would be so fun. That happens. I remember Bleach had a live action film, and I believe Ichigo's actor was able to voice his live action counterpart. So who knows?
Yeah, I almost did Shou Tucker for the live action Fullmetal Alchemist, but the time frame they wanted to record in, and I had to fly out to LA myself to do it. Didn't work. There was, I don't know, somebody had a performance or something I couldn't miss. So
speaking of your character, how did you consistently deliver as this dry, no nonsense character over the course of the entire show?
He's a lot of fun. I like him. He's direct like I am. I try to be kind of direct like Hiei is. I don't mess around with a lot of sort of small talk. I usually get straight to it with people, and that's how he was. And so he's a little grumpier than I am. So like Hiei. I used to joke that Hiei was me without coffee.
Yeah, and I gotta say, the way you deliver these one-liners, it had me laughing so much. You're so good at those.
There
lines.
was one at Kuwabara says, a fan just reminded, Kuwabara says, is that an earthquake? And I say, we're on a boat. It's just so funny. It's just like, Kuwabara, he's such an idiot.
It's amazing how you just slip into character like that. I mean, just that one little line you gave us, I saw the show. It's amazing.
That's right. Dragon of the Darkness. Flame.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for blessing us with that again.
Yes,
amazing.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Tell Kuwabara to stay away from my sister.
You mentioned another one of your iconic characters earlier, so we have to talk about him. Dr. Stein in Soul Eater.
Love him.
What a character. I gotta say, I love it when you play villains or just dangerous characters. And this show in particular, it has a sense of style and mood that you can just recognize instantly. I mean, right when you look at it, you know it's Soul Eater. The voice cast is top-notch with names like Todd Haberkorn, Laura Bailey, Bryce Papenbrook, Colleen Clinkenbeard, Eric Vale, and you, of course.
Lucy Christian, John Swayze. It's got everybody in it.
Everybody, yeah.
Sunny, Straight, everybody.
The Dream Team.
That was one of the first big series that came up. We had kind of done a couple of big series, and I think we'd gotten One Piece rolling, and but it was one that was kind of like, it felt like Yu Yu Hakusho again. It felt like auditioning for Yu Yu Hakusho again, because everybody could tell it was going to be a really fun series, just from the art style. Like you said, you see that sun and moon, and you're just like enamored with what the artists are doing. So that makes it. It's delicious. It's delicious to do work that's like that.
Yes, chef's kiss. For sure. What does it feel like to be a part of the legacy of these massive shows that are going to be around forever? And just what are some highlights you remember while working on this show with the amazing team?
In terms of the legacy, you do think about that. You think about, like, if I had a grandpa who was in silent movies, I would probably know about it from the children that came after him. Oh, your grandpa was a silent movie star. And so I think, legacy-wise, there's going to be grandchildren and great-grandchildren who look up my videos and want to know what grandpa sounded. They could be watching this podcast, right? Or listening to this podcast right now, somewhere 150, 250 years in the future. And so it does. I mean, you do get to be a part of something that lives on longer than you do. And you're very lucky for that. That's a sign that you as artists, we all want to accomplish something. We all want to participate in something that lasts beyond us most of the time. And as far as Soul Eater goes, my favorite part in that was losing my mind and laughing hysterically like a maniac, because you don't get to do that in real life without them carting you away to an institution. So being able to do that is a lot of fun. That's one of the reasons we do acting, is so that because you want to say things the way you've never said them before. You want to do things you've never done before. You like doing strange, there's one of my favorite stories. I had to lie in snow for like 2 hours while they were shooting around me, and I got frozen and hypothermia. Like, we do crazy stuff when we're acting, and sometimes you hate it, sometimes you love it, but you always cherish it.
And speaking of a more serious note, you actually suffered a massive heart attack on December 15th, 2010. You are a superhero, Chuck. So I'm just so thankful that you seem to be doing really well these days. What were your feelings during this time, and how did it affect your work, if at all?
Only 3 months, actually. I was out of work for 3 months, and then I picked up. I was directing a film at the time and starring in a film at the time. And I literally, thank God, my character in the film I was starring in was in a wheelchair. I was like, I can go back to filming. I'm like, I don't have to walk around. I'm just in a wheelchair. So it kind of worked for the character. The film I was directing, it was with a bunch of great supportive friends. So that was easy to pick back up. But the heart attack was, people talk about things like that being a blessing. And unless and until you can figure out how to look at everything that happens to you in your life as A, your responsibility, and B, beneficial for you in some way. Until you manage your perspective in that direction, you're always going to feel like a slave.
Right.
Just go get checked out. Go get, have your doctor check mine was a blockage in an artery.
Right.
The LAD, the Widowmaker, as they call it, radioactive imaging of the whole system. They check your carotid artery, see how clogged it is. But there's plenty of good testing to see how you are cardiovascularly. I had never tested because I was incredibly healthy. And, I think it was the Illuminati tried to kill me, actually. I think that's what happened. They took the heart attack gun and shot me.
I didn't want to say, but the elephant in the room, Yeah.
Have you ever?
Here we go, Chuck. Very first question. Have you ever gone skydiving?
No, but I'd love to.
Oh, cool. You would? I'm terrified.
Yeah, I'm terrified too. That's why I want to do it.
You're awesome. Have you ever touched a snake?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, several times. We used to have a snake, little some type of python. I can't remember.
I couldn't have slept in a house.
Ball python. Actually, we lost the snake because he got out.
Oh my gosh, my worst nightmare. Have you ever broken your phone?
Yes.
Have you ever been betrayed?
Sure, of course.
Ugh, that's no good. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Have you ever cried in public?
Yes, hundreds of times.
Oh, that's good. It's the artist in you. Have you ever broken any bones?
Yes, my left collarbone and my right wrist. Wow, they were both from skateboarding. That's crazy.
A dangerous sport.
Like 30 years apart.
Oh, wow. Which would you say hurt more?
Well, when I was in sixth grade when I broke my collarbone. And so when you're unaware of pain as a child, it feels overwhelming.
Yeah.
So it definitely hurt the most. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't roll over. I was just, you don't know how to manage it when you're a kid. When you get older, you're like, yeah, that hurts. That hurts a lot and it sucks. But you're mentally more capable of owning it.
Have you ever exploded with rage?
I've never given into it completely. And I suppose that's what exploded means. I've definitely felt what it would feel like to be right at the precipice of it and
yeah.
And want to. But yeah, I don't think I ever have.
I applaud you. That is some impressive self-control. No Dr. Stein moments yet. Mm-hmm.
No, not yet.
Have you ever been cheated on?
Honestly, not that I know of.
That's good.
I would say maybe, probably.
A couple people this season have said not that they know of. Have you ever seen a ghost?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I could ever definitively say that that's what I saw. I've had moments where you're unsure of, they're usually those twilight sort of half asleep, half awake things. And seeing a ghost is, my grandma was in my dream after she died, and I had told her to come back and talk to me in my dream. And she had a little bit of prophecy for me that came true, and it was weird because I shared it with people, and a couple of people, and they were like, "Holy cow, that's from your dream." In my dream, she showed me this hurricane that was a Category 5 and hit New Orleans, and then shortly after the dream, there was this Category 3, off the coast of Florida, and I was like, "That's so weird. I just had a dream that Category 5 hit New Orleans, and then it went across Florida and reformed in the Gulf, and then slanted. And as it got closer and closer to New Orleans, the two people I told were like, "What was up with your grandma telling you about the hurricane?" I was like, "Wow."
Have you ever seen a UFO?
No.
Have you ever run away?
Yeah, I did. I ran away when I was a kid.
Really? Was it dramatic or was it short?
It was short. It was one day, and I came back a day later, and I was from a rather big family, and nobody had noticed I was gone. So,
oh my God.
Which was kind of the point of me running away, but I was happy not to be in trouble when I came home. I was like making a point, and then nobody noticed, and I was like, "That's fine," because I didn't want to own it. I was like, "That'll be all right."
Have you ever done something crazy?
Sure. Tons of times. Especially when you're younger and you're like, "I wonder if I can ski on my Doc Martens on the highway off the back of this pickup truck that we're riding in the back of," stuff like that. And you're like, "Dear Lord, I hope none of my children are doing anything as stupid as I did when I was young." So.
Have you ever tried something and regretted it?
Yes. I don't like recording audiobooks.
Really? Yeah, those are tough. Have you ever pulled an all-nighter?
Sure, plenty of times. We do that in film all the time when you're shooting nights. And you get like 2 hours of sleep from like 10 to noon, and then you're back up again and at it or whatever. Yeah, I like it. I get a bunch of stuff done from 3 to 7 in the morning while everyone's sleeping.
Have you ever been terrified?
Briefly while driving and accidents, probably. Probably the most sustained terror I had was when downtown Fort Worth got hit by a tornado. They were kind of calling out where the tornado was, and it pulled up into the clouds, but it literally went right over us. And I had a brand new baby in a sling, and that scared me for a good solid 4 or 5 minutes.
Understandable. I don't think there's anything more disturbing than a cloud of death reaching down to the earth to eat you up.
Fan mail.
So this is from Drew
right.
Shaw. He says, "Oh, wow,
Drew.
that's fantastic. I've taken one of his master classes a couple years back in March. Tell him that Drew says hello and hoping that he's doing well."
Yeah, Drew was great. He was a great student.
Awesome. Yes, he actually stars in my animated web series, Project Infinity. So that was really
Oh,
cool.
very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's
awesome.
returning for the film, which we're working on right now. So you'll see more of Drew.
Oh, wow.
We have another question, or the first question from Cosmic Dawn. If you had Android 17's powers for a day, what would you do with them? That's fun.
Yeah. What would you do? I mean, I wouldn't go out looking for bad guys to kill because I'm not really into murdering other humans.
Yeah, I get it.
I would definitely fly around a lot. So
Yeah,
I'd probably be mostly saving cats.
Another question from Lexi Young. Were you surprised with Dragon Ball GT and Super, and do you watch anime?
I do. We do watch anime. I'm not as into anime series, just because we have a very crowded, loud house. And so, like, if we watch something together, it is usually a movie. And so, all the Studio Ghibli movies, all the Hosoda movies, and it's not strictly anime, but it is in the genre. Avatar is a big favorite in the household.
Love it.
The new Spider-Verse movie that's coming out.
Exciting.
We're all looking forward to seeing that.
We have another question from My Hero Sean Mania. He wants to know, what is it like voicing villains throughout your whole career?
I love the villains. Villains are a lot of fun. They're always more complex than the hero characters. Hero characters, by their very nature, are typically pretty straightforward. What you see is what you get. Villains, or even anti-heroes or villains who become heroes, they usually have a more interesting backstory, which is more fun for me to play. And I never was able to play the hero. That voice, people don't buy it. They think this guy's got some history in his voice, and he is not a hero. He might save the day. He might even save all the universes, but that might be after he's blown up many planets.
Many planets. I think you could do it. I think we're going to see your first true hero role come up soon.
All right. I'll put that in the universe.
Yeah, I'm down for it. We have another question from Cynthia Cosner. She wants to know, what advice could you provide for voiceover auditions to increase your chances of landing the job?
So number one, become incredibly efficient at your audition process so that you go, I've said all the words correctly, the sentences make sense meaning-wise, and I appreciate what I'm doing character-wise with objective, intention, obstacle. Trying to accomplish what the character wants in this little snippet for the audition. So make that process super efficient so that you're not recording take after take after take after take after take, trying to get it right, because really all you're doing there is solidifying sort of well-used pathways in your acting web of choices, organic choices. So anytime you find yourself repeating an audition like that, take a step back and trust that you're probably not going to improve from the first audition to the 12th take.
Yeah.
So keep it simple. And then number two is look for, if there is, we do an exercise called playing the opposite. And if you can find any place in an audition to play the opposite, which means, so say the line is, I'm so angry, I'm going to rip your throat out. And so I'm so angry, I'm going to rip your throat out, or whatever it is. See if there's any way to play the opposite on a line so that instead of saying, I'm so angry, I want to rip your throat out, pretend in your head you're saying, you're so cute, I'm going to give you a lollipop. And so then you take that sort of impression, you say, I'm so angry, I'm going to rip your throat out, so that it can come across in a way that's different, because as they're listening to audition after audition after audition, they're hearing a lot of the same thing over and over again. And if you deliver something that is useful but different, that shows you are able to manage the process of acting.
This is so funny. Every single time we have a voice actor on the show, there's at least one person that has a request like this. Primafrost or Primafrost is asking, please, can Chuck speak as 17?
I could, but then I'd have to kill you because humans are stupid.
The Deep Dive.
Chuck, if a genie could grant you 3 wishes, what would they be?
Okay, so wishes are weird because, like, a lot of people think you'd be like, I want there to be flying cars. And it's like, I would want things on the earth to change slowly over time, but I would like the earth. Probably the number one wish would be for the earth to be directed towards community-driven projects rather than capitalist-driven, corporate-driven projects, so that the driving force was not the acquisition of wealth, but the accomplishment of community projects, so that we measured ourselves based on the worst well on the earth. So we are, as an earth, only as good as the worst way the lowest person on earth gets water. That is our baseline. And build it up from there. Number 2 would be to have warp gate power, just like Kurogiri. So I could all over the earth to all the different projects I wanted to work on. And then number 3 would be probably to be an artistic associate, not the director, because I don't want to be totally in charge. I want someone else to be in charge, but of a incredible Shakespeare theater. And then I would just do incredible Shakespeare for the rest of my life and zip around all over on the earth that was growing into peaceful sort of harmony.
Are you afraid of death? This is a deep one.
Generally speaking, no. About 99.9% of the time I'm not. When I do find myself afraid of death, it usually only takes just a little bit of breath work, just inhalation, exhalation for me to appreciate still being alive, which is the greatest balm against fearing death, is to, as the Stoics say, anyone who suffers something too soon, there is no death. We will never know death. Death happens and, we're not conscious of it. So It's, supposedly. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe you go to a reboot screen, you get to go, I don't know, this time let me be from this country. And, we start this great video game all over again. But generally speaking, death is not really something to be feared.
What is your biggest regret?
There was one where I was working a crew for a Shakespeare company, the Renaissance company, Kenneth Branagh, Emma Thompson, their company, right after he won the Academy Award for Henry V. And I slipped a note under his door my last day working crew for them. They were in town in Chicago for the International Theater Festival. I've slipped a note, I'll carry trunks, I'll clean dressing rooms.
Yeah.
Just let me go with your theater company doing Shakespeare all over the world. I got a call from the casting director for the Shakespeare company. I was all of 20 years old, 19 years old.
Wow.
And they were like, come audition in London in August. And this was May or June. And probably biggest regret, I should have gone to that audition. I should have quit school, flew to England, and joined the Shakespeare company. It's not a regret. I'd like to see what that guy turned out to be.
What is your earliest memory of life?
I was running outside with a stick, and I fell on it, and I cut right here, and I needed 3 stitches right here. And I know it was before I was in school. So I must have been 3 or 4.
At MLA, we always talk about keep being creative. Having been so successful pursuing your dreams and making them come true, what does being creative mean to you, and how has it impacted your life and career? Do you have advice for others? My
favorite quote about creativity is from Martin Scorsese, and he says that the most creative is the most personal, or when you are behaving or acting or creating from a place that is absolutely distinguished to you and you alone, because it comes from some need or want or injury or desire for knowledge, whatever it is, or just expression, that when you are behaving in that way, you are fulfilling your ultimate goal, which is to be unique. We are an information system, and the more uniqueness we have, the more synergy, the better we are as a species. So I just, it is your superpower, and you want to be rewarded. You don't want to imitate other people's superpowers. You want to use your own. And your superpower is that your creative expression can be uniquely and deeply tied to your own personal journey, experiences, philosophy, mood. Doesn't matter, just so long as you're the one doing the expressing.
It's like everyone has their own fingerprint. It's the same thing with creativity. Yeah.
It's true.
Well, I would just like to give you the floor now just to tell the viewers about any upcoming projects you're working on or anything else you'd like to share before we sign off.
Yeah, I am looking forward to the new My Hero Academia video game. I forget what it's called, but I just recorded some for that.
Awesome.
It's like MHA Fortnite style, Battle Royale style, I think. I also got classes coming up in July. Like I said, you can find out about those at chuckhuber.org, masterclass. And if you see me at a convention, which my next convention is Anime Orlando, you will notice that my prints are now connected to augmented reality, and they come to life when you point your phone at them. So come check that out. It's an application called Publish AR, and it's I've been using it at the table, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm Chuck Huber for MLA Entertainment. Keep being creative.
Hey, you. You can help support the Keiko's Diary podcast by liking, subscribing, and sharing it with your friends. Sounds like you're pretty powerful. Thank you for listening, and keep being creative.